AI, economics, funds, cost of living, war. I will speak of none of these things in this video. What's up, dudes? So I'm back with another video. Yes, 2023 is coming to an end. It's been a fantastic year for me, one of the best in a long time. And I just want to run through the whole year as a review for you guys, my most memorable moments, albums I'm disappointed with, my favourite albums of the year, run through all of the festivals that I went to, all of the gigs, and a load of other random stuff. So yeah, let's talk about 2023 overall. Right, let's start with some random moments. My first memory of the year was my brother trying to cook a pizza in an air fryer. Yeah, let's see how that went.
Boy. See? You ready for the
Dude, you still got to lift that up. That's the hot plate.
Oh, yeah, fine.
Oh, you shouldn't have said anything.
Wait, let me just have a little sneak peek. Oh, everything is perfect. Excuse me. Something bad happened. Alright? I tried to cook a pizza in an air fryer, but it would have worked if the pizza was frozen, but because it was just refrigerated, it was a bit soggy. So I should have put it on a flat base.
Yeah, I'm sure it's possible to cook a pizza in an air fryer, but the one that he had didn't quite do it. It didn't sit on the thing properly, and it turned out to be a massive mess. So yeah, don't cook a pizza in an air fryer. We went to Butlins for my stag do this year in May. It was mental, to say the least. Yeah, it was way more mental than I actually thought it was going to be. Ended up to be a really, really great time and a really great stag do for me and Carter, who obviously were getting married just a month apart. Yeah, it was amazing. It was a really good time. I recommend going to the Butlins Adult Weekenders because they actually are mental, and the best bit about them is they are super cheap. On the same subject, of course, my best friend Carter got married. I was the best man and I got to do a speech and all that, so here's a little bit of that speech.
Someone to, after all their years, I think at this time he was probably about 26, to have a lot of possessions. So at the time he broke up with his girlfriend and he said, I've got to come stay in your little room. I had just a room in Harrow. I said, do you need any help with your stuff? He said, no, I'm going to get the bus. I went, are you sure? I went, yeah. I said, all right, sweet. So I went downstairs and met him by the front door. This is no word of a lie. The man was 26 years old. He had a case that he would take on holiday and a black bag. And that was everything the man owned.
Yeah, it was fantastic to be involved in the day and obviously to be joint best man with me and my brother. And we've done that all our weddings. We were all each other's best men, the three of us. And yeah, it was a really, really great time seeing my best friend get married and just party with all my friends. In the same vein, of course, I got married this year as well. In June, me and Vicky finally tied the knot. It was an amazing day. We made it as rocky as we could with the band. It cost a lot of money, and now we're like, God, why did we spend so much money on the wedding? But of course, it was all for Vicky, really. I did really enjoy myself and loved every second of it, but it really was for her, and she loved it amazingly. So obviously, that's going to be one of my greatest memories of all time, let alone my memories from the year. But it was always going to be a memorable year when, you know, you get married in that year. But it was a fantastic time, and I shall always remember it. Have you pressed subscribe? You should press subscribe, because, you know, I do this stuff all the time, and it's always better when someone subscribes to the channel, because then you'll know what I'm doing and then you'll be a part of the community. Yeah? Okay, sweet. All right, wicked. Bye. After that, we went for our little mini moon. We went and stayed in like a little cabin in the middle of nowhere, and it actually turned out to be really, really chilled.
I was a couple of years behind on fashion trends.
What do we know?
Vic's name is Vanessa May. All this glass and marble belongs to her. She lives alone. Between fiancés, no signs of forced entry or burglary.
Yeah, we just hang out the whole time basically in this really, really cool place. They had a hot tub downstairs and you could put DVDs on and just chill there. And we ended up drinking way too much champagne. But it was an awesome time. And those sort of holidays I love, when you're just segregated from everything and you're just basically doing your own thing. It was really cool. One of the biggest things this year, unfortunately, we said goodbye to my Sendero 4 tent that I've had since 2019. I know before, like, people on Facebook have been calling me the like Sendero guy and all this sort of stuff, but it was a genuinely sad moment. And if you haven't watched my Bloodstock vlog, just watch this little bit and you'll get a sense of how much of an occasion it was to say goodbye to this special tent. You know, all the crew, you know, we were all saying goodbye. You know, she lasted, I think, about 8 festivals, maybe even 9 festivals since 2019. So the tent actually done really well. I think I got it on sale for like 150 quid. So it was way worth it. Obviously I have to get a new one next year. I might go up to the 6 or the 8 and get a big boy, but it's always heavier to carry. So I'm not sure. But yeah, a dark times, and rest in peace. If you could just comment down, rest in peace, Sendero 4. We are thinking of you. We went to Amsterdam for our honeymoon this year, which was really cool, somewhere that I've always wanted to go. It was very expensive, and much more expensive than I thought it was going to be, but it actually turned out to be really cool. It's getting a bit windy now, babe.
Let's brace it. Don't fall in. That's it.
I'm gonna have to fall in the drink, aren't I? So just another, you know, cool thing that we ended up doing this year. And yeah, it was great to get away and finally see Amsterdam. And it is as cool as people say it is. I'm a massive Aston Villa fan, and I finally got to go to Villa Park this year. I haven't been in ages, but I'm really glad that obviously within 2023, I'm sure you football guys will know, with Aston Villa doing so amazingly, it was great to actually go to Villa Park and watch a game. It was a European game as well, so it was quite a big deal. Yeah, it was just absolutely fantastic. Had a fantastic time and can't wait to get back there next year. Now let's talk about albums. I want to talk about I mean, it's pretty good that only 2 albums really disappointed me this year. One way more than the other, but there are a lot of really, really good stuff. Some of it was quite middle of the road, but there was a lot of good stuff in 2023. But these 2 albums disappointed me slightly compared to what I was expecting. The first one is Teenage Wrist, Still Love. Now, Earth is a Black Hole, I consider to be a 10 out of 10 album. Obviously, that was the album previous to this one. And when this came out, I was super excited. Yeah, I just thought it just fell flat completely. I don't think it had any of the magic that they managed to capture on the last album, which genuinely is absolutely phenomenal. This one still has a few good tracks, but it falls massively compared to the last one. And I know I'm not the only one in this. A lot of other fans that I've spoken to of Teenage Wrist feel the same way, that it's got a few good tracks, but it doesn't quite live up to the hype of the last album. So I'm looking forward to the next one, and hopefully they pick it up again. But yeah, disappointing. And another one similarly was Take Me Back to Eden, Sleep Token. I am a massive Sleep Token fan. I have been, you know, everyone's like, oh, I've been a Sleep Token fan for so long. I was probably only one of, I don't know, 100 people watching them at Download 2018. I mean, they are a fantastic band, and it's exciting to see how much they've grown, and I've grown along with them. Fantastic to see them doing so well, getting big numbers. But yeah, this album really didn't do it for me. It has some killer tracks on it, don't get me wrong, there are some real standouts on this that are some of the best Sleep Token songs, but I think as an album as a whole, it really doesn't play well as a full album. It kind of just, it doesn't capture the magic that the last two albums did, similar to the Teenage Wrist album. I mean, understandably, when I look back, I didn't realise they've released 3 albums in 4 years, which is not a long time to wait between albums. So hopefully they take a little bit more time with the new one. Don't rush it. You know, they don't have to keep on going with the popularity, because it will be a big album when it comes out. Hopefully they take their time with this one, develop the sound, you know, let people get really, really anxious for that album to come out, and then release it. So hopefully it takes a couple of years or 3 years, you know, like it used to release an album. Because yeah, 3 albums in 4 years is very, very quick. And the quality overall has been very good. So this one dipped a little bit for me, but I'm still on board with Sleep Token. I'm still ready. Still one of the best live bands you could see, basically. And we will get to that. And a great British band. So yeah, fingers crossed that the next album is a step up. Just a few albums that I want to give honourable mentions to before I get to my favourite albums of the year, because I could probably spend a whole hour talking about all these albums, but I won't in this video. First one I want to mention is The Scratch, Mind Yourself. Absolutely fantastic album again from The Scratch. Even more proggy than the last ones. Bit more slower tracks on it, but some of it sounds like Thin Lizzy. Some of it sounds like Meshuggah with no down tune. It's a great, fantastic album. Also, really, really great live band. Crosses, Good Night, God Bless, I Love You, Delete. You know, Chino knocking it out the park again with his like electronic side project. The first Crosses album 2013 was sick. This one is unbelievable. Really, really great album. I literally can't stop listening to it. It's fantastic. If you like obviously Deftones and Chino's voice and a little bit of electronic stuff, you will really like this album. It's fantastic. Peter Gabriel I.O., which only came out, you know, about 3 weeks ago now, I think 2 weeks ago. So I've been just listening to that the whole time. Obviously, Peter Gabriel's first album in 20 years. I am a huge Genesis, Phil Collins, Genesis, Peter Gabriel / Peter Gabriel fan. So I was really, really hyped for this, and it hasn't disappointed. It is absolutely unbelievable. If you like Peter Gabriel and you haven't listened to anything in a while, I.O. is absolutely amazing. Again, he's just knocks it out of the park, and for me, being one of the greatest singers of all time, absolutely fantastic. And the last one is In Flames Foregone, which came out, I think, right at the beginning of the year. Really great album. I think a lot of their albums before that, they haven't been lackluster, but I don't think they've quite got up to the standards that In Flames could. But this is absolutely brilliant from start to finish. They were really great at Bloodstock as well. Yeah, I'm really excited for the future of In Flames if they keep this level up. But yeah, this one, start to finish, absolutely fantastic. Now, let's move on to the albums that I want to talk about in a little bit more depth I absolutely loved. The first one is an album I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about. It's The Used, Toxic Positivity, their new album that came out this year. I have not stopped listening to this album since it came out. I think I've listened to it at least once a week since it came out. They were my top listened to band this year on the Spotify Wrapped thing. I love this album. I think this is the pinnacle of modern day Used stuff. Great lyrics, fantastic vocals. A lot of the songs, you know, are just everything about this album is brilliant all the way through. Yeah, and I absolutely love it. I can't say enough good things about the new Used album. I think it's captured everything that they are perfectly, you know, taking a little bit look to the past, but also sort of progressive and moving forward. I think they are massively underrated overall and should be way, way bigger than they are, considering their modern day stuff I like even more than their old stuff, you know, back in the early 2000s. But from this album, I would recommend Numb, I Hate Everybody, Cherry, which is by far one of my favourite Used songs now, Top of the World, and Giving Up. Go check it out if you haven't. It's great. This album is an absolute trip. I really wasn't sure at first what to think of this album. I listened to it once all the way through and I thought, what I'm not quite sure what I've just listened to there, you know, in your head, knowing it's Avenged Sevenfold and what they normally do. Yeah, you know, it goes from Frank Sinatra to Frank Zappa to sounding like Daft Punk to Alice in Chains. There's so much weird stuff on this album, but I think that's why I like it, because it's so all over the place. Like they've really tried to sort of push the boundaries of what they're doing. I know it's a very Marmite album and a lot of fans haven't liked it and some have absolutely loved it. I'm definitely in the love camp. Yeah, I find myself listening to this quite a lot, actually, picking out a lot of the songs as well. Like I listen to it as a whole album, but some of the songs I just have put on a playlist and just won't stop listening to. And they're actually the weirder ones on there because I like that they've gone down that route. I've played this to people and literally said to them, guess which band this is. And they've been like, I have absolutely no idea. And when I've told them it's Avenged Sevenfold, they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's Avenged Sevenfold. So it's a massive trip. If you haven't heard it, it's definitely worth going to listen to. Even if you don't end up liking it, just for the trip that this album takes you on, because yeah, it's insane. Stuff I would recommend from this, tracks I would recommend would be Nobody, Cosmic, G, Ordinary, and Death. The next album I would recommend, and one of my favourites from the year, was Villa Vallo's Neon Noir. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, because obviously it's been a while since there's been a him album. And I was thinking, what route is he going to go down? Is he going to go heavier? Is he going to go more gothy? He kind of combined the two. It is a very goth-filled album, but again, filled with his beautiful tones, his falsettos. And then I found out afterwards that he played everything on the album himself, which makes it even more insane because it really is a stellar album start to finish. Just as good as any him album, actually better than some of the later him albums, I think. It slots in there perfectly. If you haven't listened to him in a while, or you've been a fan of that kind of stuff, or if you're into sort of the more gothy, dark rock stuff, you should really check this album out. It is one that I've listened to over and over again. It's so easy listening in a great way. Brilliant lyrically, and like I said, he played everything himself, which is really impressive, and you don't get many musicians doing that anymore where they play everything on that album. Songs from this one I recommend would be Echolocate Your Love, Run Away from the Sun, Neon Noir, Love Letting, Forever Lost, and Salute the Sanguine. A lot of tracks because it's very good. And my final favourite album from this year was Enter Shikari, A Kiss for the Whole World. Again, Enter Shikari absolutely knocking it out of the park. Do these guys have a bad album? I don't think they do. They're just so consistent, so brilliant. Also, I feel like they're such an interesting listen. You know, their music can literally go anywhere. And they just sprinkle a little bit of themselves in between, and it always sounds great. They're always pushing the envelope, trying something different. It's quite a positive album, but then you're listening to other parts and it has that sort of overarching sense of sort of doom for the world. You know, we're not quite sure what's happening around us and stuff. It's a really great message, a really great album. I'm very disappointed about their Slam Dunk performance, but we will get to that in a second. But It Hurts, the song, actually turned out to be my most listened to track on Spotify this year from my Spotify Wrapped. So I was like, oh, okay. I was expecting another used track or something, but no, it was It Hurts by Enter Shikari, which I have played a hell of a lot. It's a really good album. Again, check it out if you haven't, especially if you're a Shikari fan and you haven't checked it out already. You definitely should. It's awesome and epic. Tracks from this one I recommend would be Kiss for the Whole World, Please Set Me on Fire, Bloodshot, and Gigantic Pacific Octopus. It's awesome. Check it out. Right, now let's talk gigs that I went to this year. The first one, right in the beginning of the year, I'm pretty sure it was in January, was Sleep Token. Like I said before, not a fan of the new album, but live, this band are absolutely fantastic. They always have been. Again, just such a fat sound. Vessel always sounds absolutely incredible live. What a voice. And obviously, they're so big at the moment. The crowd is so into it. It was a sold-out show. Saw them in Bristol at the O2. Great venue. I recommend anyone going to see Sleep Token. They are sick. In April, I went to see Limp Bizkit at the OVO Wembley Arena. I mean, I've been watching Limp Bizkit for a long time. I saw them in the same venue in 2001, and this was just as good. Like, this band live are just a force. The crowd always going mental. Obviously, we know all the songs. They're a lot of fun. I'm really, really happy they got added to the download lineup because I know they are going to absolutely kill it. It's going to be a huge gig. Also, beef up those download numbers because people weren't happy, but we'll get there. But yeah, they're just brilliant. They're fantastic. Go and see Limp Bizkit if you get the chance. And obviously, if you come to download, definitely don't miss Limp Bizkit because it's going to be epic. I watched In Search of Sun at the Anvil in Bournemouth. A criminally underrated band, absolutely amazing. Leader's vocals are phenomenal. The band are great. They're so proggy, rocky. These guys, again, a lot like in Shikari, these guys can turn their hand to anything and make it sound fantastic. They're also touring next year, so I'm really, really excited to go to that and check them out again. But yeah, if you haven't heard of In Search of Sun, go on Spotify and check them out. They are so sick. And my final gig of the year was The Used at the Marble Factory in Bristol. Just great live. I'm so happy these guys got added to the Download Festival lineup. Obviously, I haven't seen them for a very long time and they did not disappoint. It was a whole lot of fun, a lot of singing. I had a fantastic time. And like I said, really looking forward to them at Download. So yeah, definitely go and check them out. They will not disappoint you. Okay, let's talk about festivals. Let's talk about the first one of the year. Unfortunately, the disappointing Slam Dunk South.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Yeah, it really didn't work this year. This being my first year. And like I said in my festival review video, people have been banging on for me to go to this festival for ages. And it was really disappointing. I mean, it looked terribly organised. Some parts of it looked very open and nice. Other bits were just too squashed in. The festival grounds looked absolutely gorgeous. A lovely place to host a festival. I'm just really surprised how bad they utilised the space. Obviously, parking issues that people had, getting there, getting out. I didn't really get any of those issues. The main issue for me with this festival was the sound was awful. I have been to a lot of festivals. This was the worst sound I've ever heard at a festival. It was terrible all the way through. On the Kerrang stage, awful. All the bands just sounded like noise. Malevolent managed to sound a little bit better, but it still wasn't up to scratch for what you would expect from a major festival. Same on the second stage. Holding Absence, one of my favourite live bands, sounded terrible. Might as well have been listening to them through my Bluetooth speaker. And the same for Enter Shikari, who put on a fantastic show. Couldn't hear any of it, so I don't know if it was good or not. But I ended up walking away from that, then going to watch The Offspring, which sounded just as bad. Yeah, really disappointed with Slam Dunk. It's put me off so much that, even though I don't like the lineup at all for next year, it might be a festival that I might go to hang out with my friends, you know, see some buddies, see some bands. But yeah, I will not be going to this festival. And I don't think anyone else should go because it was terrible. I don't know how the Norse one was, if it was quite as bad. But yeah, Slam Dunk South was an absolute mess. And of course, the big boy Download Festival. I had an absolutely amazing time this year. It was fantastic. I know there was a lot of complaints with it being too crowded or oversold. It's just how busy Download can get when it's sold out. You know, I mean, a lot of people might not have gone to the ones, you know, we're talking like 10 years ago, the last time the festival actually sold out properly, completely, you know, everything. So I'm not sure people were quite used to how busy Download can be, because over the last 10 years it has varied in attendances. Some of them not attended very well at all, and others attended quite a lot, but not quite to the capacity that it was this year. Of course, parking issues and traffic issues, I understand those. I have said before, Download can only work with the infrastructure they have. Could it have been planned better? definitely. I'm not going to defend Download and say, oh, they're great, they do everything right, because they don't. They messed up on that. Toilets as well. I feel like the guys' urinals, again, there wasn't enough of them. Seems to be a continuing issue with Download. People said about rough pits, which I've talked about before. My advice is, if you don't want to possibly take a hit to the face because it's a mosh pit, that could happen. Don't go in a mosh pit. People aren't trying to hurt you. Well, most people aren't trying to hurt you, but it's always a risk when you go into a mosh pit that you could accidentally get hit in the face or pushed over or anything. So if you don't want to be hit in the face or pushed over, or possibly hit in the face or pushed over, don't go into a mosh pit and you won't get hit. But overall, I think it was a brilliant festival. Some standout sets for me this year. Bring Me the Horizon were absolutely incredible.
Lose your fucking mind!
They knocked it out the park. They surpassed my expectations of what a new headliner for Download could be. So that is very exciting. I thought that Ghost put on a headline style performance on the second stage. They could have easily just moved that to the main stage and it would have been the same type of show. Would have been absolutely fantastic. And my surprise of the festival were Joey Valance and Bray, the two-piece hip-hop group.
Hello, my name is Joe. I made a song and here's how it goes. It's about to blow. When I hit the double jump, I ship a barbecue.
They were insane. It was absolutely amazing to watch those guys. I am now a dedicated fan, love their album, and will check them out wherever they go. But the best bit of the festival this year was meeting you guys. I had so many people come up to me. It was overwhelming and awesome at the same time. I got to take photos of all you guys, meet you, have a hug, have a chat. Even if we spoke for like 2 seconds, it was still great for all of you to come up to me and just say hello. So yeah, don't stop doing that. If you see me anywhere, you see me at a gig, you see me at a festival, I'm very approachable. Just come up to me and say hello and we'll have a chat. If I've got the time, we'll have a chat. I really love talking to you guys. And I just love how much support you give me for the channel. But yes, Download 2023 was awesome. In July, we had 2000 Trees Festival, another one of my favorites that I pretty much go to as much as I can. Really, really great. I'm always telling people to go to 2000 Trees. It's fantastic. Not the highest attended trees. They tailored the lineup to be quite heavy, which isn't really what the Trees audience are looking for. They're looking for sort of in the middle alternative. When things get a bit too heavy, I think they're not quite sure about it. They had Bullet headline, who were absolutely brilliant. They really have stepped up their game live, and I'm really excited for them to play, you know, big proper metal festivals again, because it will be really, really great to see them. Pitch Shifter, one of my favorite old school bands as well, played, and they were handing out like money and all sorts of crazy stuff, and I managed to get a set list, which is just there, which was a big high point for me this year. So yeah, Trees is a great festival. Think of it as a less heavy Bloodstock. So if you're looking for something within that vein, highly recommend it. But Trees 2023, absolutely awesome. And the final festival of the year, and one of the greatest festivals, always Bloodstock, of course. Again, I think this is definitely my favorite Bloodstock, actually. There's no two ways about it. This is the most fun I've had at a festival in a very, very long time. Probably because I was the most drunk I've ever been, as you can see by these clips. 3, 2, 1, go. Stu's gone with a full cap.
Got anything stronger?
I just want to give a shout out to 2 of my absolute boys on YouTube that I've had the privilege of spending a lot of time with this year. The first one being MTV Stu, now a very, very good friend of mine. Got to hang out with him this year at Download and Bloodstock. He does vlogs and stuff like I do. I'll put the link to his channel in the description. He is such a good dude, and I'm sure he's got loads of great stuff planned next year. And the other one is Ben, otherwise known as Chids Vids. You know, he's the reason why I make download content and videos. I saw one of Ben's videos way back in like 2016. I thought, oh, that's really cool. I have told him this on multiple occasions. But yeah, we ended up meeting. He became a very, very good friend of mine. We got on like a house on fire. Had the privilege of spending a lot of time with him this year. He came to my wedding, stag do, download, Bloodstock. You know, such a cool guy. I'm sure some of you are aware of him, but if you're not, go and check out his channel. I put the link in the description. He's done loads of awesome vlogs this year, and I'm sure he's got loads of stuff planned for next year as well. Yeah, a lot of drinking ensued as it was just like lads going, but it was really, really great. I had a fantastic time. It's such a well set up festival. Like I said to people who haven't been, it's like a condensed download. Great vibes again, really great community. Festival is run fantastically, sound is brilliant, the stages are laid out perfectly. It is just, I would recommend anyone who likes metal or alternative music to go to Bloodstock. It's an absolute blast. Of course, Killswitch Engage headlining, who were just fantastic. I may have got a little bit emotional. I don't know why. Music does make me emotional, but it doesn't make me, you know, get like emotional physically. But I really did get quite emotional during Killswitch Engage. It was a bit of a revelation actually for me, because I was like, oh my God, do I have tears coming out of my eyes? I think I do while singing End of Heartache. It was absolutely brilliant. And the band that surprised me the most out of everyone there was Not Loose. My friend Dean has been telling me to see this band for ages. Wow, what a band. And then of course I got into them after that with Deep in the Willow and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I was absolutely blown away by Not Loose, and I will definitely check them out at any festival I can now. But yeah, Bloodstock, highly recommended. What a great way to end festival season as always. Yeah, absolutely loved it. And finally, to end, of course, channel-wise, you know, I've still got a few videos to come out this year, but I just want to thank all of you. It has been such an amazing year. I think when I started this year, I had like 200 or 300 subscribers. And now I've got like 1.7, and I think I've got 166,000 views across all my videos. I have really tried this year, put out a video a week. I think I missed 2 weeks. One of those being my wedding and the other one being download. But I have really tried my hardest to get a video out a week, no matter what it is. I've tried some other different things as well, the Halloween stuff that I've done. But yeah, it's just been so good, so much fun. I'm still having an absolute blast doing these videos for you guys. And I love talking to everyone in the comments, and just you guys reacting to the videos. It just feels so good. Like I said, meeting all of you in person is the best bit of that, to know that you're watching and you're interacting and you're enjoying what I do. And yeah, hopefully you guys really, really keep on enjoying it. 2024 will be an even bigger year. I've got some really great stuff in the pipeline, and some big things are happening. I won't say any more than that, but yeah, there's some really, really cool stuff happening in 2024. But it's not over. I've still got a few videos to come, so make sure you check those out. But yes, overall, 2023 has been absolutely brilliant. It's just been all highs for me this year. Like, it's been great. Hopefully 2024 stands up to this year. But yes, thank you very, very much for watching. As I said before, please subscribe to the channel if you're watching this video, or if you like any of my stuff. It would literally mean the world to me. And yeah, 2023, it was great. That's all really. That's all I can say. I've had a smile on my face this whole video pretty much. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you dudes in the next video.